Okay, everybody, here is a 1,000 mile review on a 2024 Uforce 1000 XL. I'm going to give you kind of the good, bad, and ugly. Let's prove to y'all that I got 1,000 miles on here. We'll go over some of the stuff I've done with it, some of the stuff that I'm fixing to do with it. 1,004 miles. Let's see how many hours I got on here. I don't hardly adjust this hardly ever. Nope. 109.2 hours. So there's that. Still fires up just great. Let's turn this off. I just got done driving it around the property, so fuel pump. And as you can tell, fires up just fine. Looking good there. Alright, so I just did a gigantic loop around here. Ran the puppies for about, 4 miles. Was actually looking to see where the coyotes are coming in, so found that out. I'm gonna set some snares later. So Uforce X1000, XL1000. Let's go over the good. The good, man, this thing does everything I ask. The power's there, for what I do, the speed is there. I mean, I'm not racing this thing. Just, man, I don't think I'd want a whole lot more. This time of year with that, yeah, full cabs are kind of nice. However, this lasts about maybe 2 months where I am here in Idaho, and I'm fixing to suffer through it because it's not that bad, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. There's quite a few upgrades I did to this, or add-ons that I think are worth it, and I'll go over those here in a second. But as y'all can tell, I use this. I use it a lot. I got a Cougar not too long ago. I had a hound box back here. I had 6 hounds, 2 fuel tanks, cargo box on top of the dog box, and then I had a 120-pound cat, and man, this thing did awesome. I was in snow a little deeper than this, probably about a foot and a half-ish in spots. And I had 4 chains on here. This thing was almost unstoppable. Ran it in 4-wheel drive most of the time, then you have to lock it up the front. So as far as that goes, that is awesome. Now, let's get to some of the not so awesome stuff. And some of it I believe is self-induced, and some of it I believe is designed induced, and we're gonna go over that right here. You can tell this back windshield gets super dirty, and yes, y'all know from my previous videos, it is super dusty out here. Middle of January, it finally dried out enough. We even had dust out here in January. Not now, but in January. So you can see it's just super dusty. This dust just kind of comes in here and swirls almost. And that does 2 things. One, it makes your side-by-side look like a ranching side-by-side, which is this is for me. But the other thing it does is, let me open this and all this mud here. Yes, there's stuff back there. The air box. I have to clean that once a month. I really wish they could find a different spot for that where the dust isn't swirling in here so bad. It comes in here and goes through that box and then down into that box into the motor. And that's going to come into play here in a minute. But I have a uni air filter in there. I'm not going to pop it for you because it's just take my word for it, but I do. And it's just, and I think it's mainly due to possibly these doors, but mainly this back windshield for the cab area. For back here, that's a design issue. If I had the back windshield with a little back air vent deal or some air vents back here, I have a feeling the dust in this cab wouldn't be as bad. That being said, it is what it is, and it's livable, but man, I can't keep this thing clean. Let's get to the worst news. This was dealer induced, and this is my shame face. I changed the oil on the first oil change on this thing, and I have a feeling I forgot to put the oil plug in and came back and put the other quart and a half in here because I had a phone call or something. Long story short, I ran this thing without enough oil and I smoked the motor. It's right here. That was not under warranty, even though my dealership said they tried. And I honestly don't blame the warranty because I did all the work. And it wasn't, I don't know, I think it was 15, 12 miles after that oil change, I smoked that motor. Lesson learned, I will never do that again. And moving on. Other than my mess up with that motor and or sabotage, which I highly doubt, but could have been. But anyways, long story short, my mess up with that motor, this thing has been flawless. Let's go over some of the parts that I think are necessary, because this is where this machine starts to shine once you put stuff on it. First and foremost, beyond none, go get on Google, go find RNG Performance, call them, talk to the owner or the wife. They both know their stuff. But anyways, long story short, get an RNG clutch. They are not stage clutches. They are, hey, for me, this is what I told them. I have this 24 Uforce XL1000. I live on a ranch. I will be pulling light loads with it. I will be hauling. I will be working with it. However, I also live in Idaho, the most mountainous state in the United States. And I go up and down mountains, and I'm going to go hunting with this thing, and I'm going to take this thing in the trails in the backcountry where I can. So I need to be able to go slow, under control, up and downhill. And they're like, got you covered. They hooked me up with a secondary spring clutch, a helix and weight setup, and gave me the settings, and I got it, I don't know, maybe 3 days later from halfway across the country, and I think they're in Iowa, and installed it myself. I don't know, 3 hours, taking my time. That thing is a godsend. It is worth every penny. It has changed the entire mechanics of this thing for one reason. One, the shifting into gear now is not nearly as difficult, and two, the jerkiness at a crawl pace is gone. Like nothing. There's no jerk on the throttle. I couldn't stand that stock throttle response, and it sucked. So get an RNG clutch. Cannot say enough good things about them. They seem to be straight up honest people and will help you with install. They will help you with other things what they can over the phone, and they're good to deal with. Let's see here. So I have these Super ATV aluminum half doors. That's a preference thing. MSC has some really cool they're a poly door. I went with the aluminum for my own reasons. I was a little worried about the heat in the summer, about the poly possibly flexing and sagging when that poly gets warm. However, I can see advantages to them because it makes your, or it doesn't make it, but it's lighter than these doors, which are holding up great. But this is steel. This is all, I think this is aluminum, but I think this is steel right here. So there's some heft and weight to it. Takes some adjusting, but nothing more than a, Allen bolt. So let's see here. Gun racks. I got these and those at my local D&B store here. You can get any Murdoch's, North 40, whatever ranch store. How I attached these is also another part sold by RNG, and I'll try and zoom in here. These aluminum plug and play, so that's how it comes. And they have two versions of these. One's a plastic version for light duty that I would say that would be just fine for the light duty. However, I got 4 of the aluminum ones. And the reason why I got 4 is eventually I think what I'm going to end up doing is custom building a hound box and bolting it in here. You can put them anywhere where these slots are. But I wanted something pretty heavy duty for that hound box because we love our dogs and don't want them to go for a ride. So I got those, and that's in the works. For right now, I got, a short shovel here, and this thing doesn't move. These things are in there, like if anybody knows guns, it looks a lot like an M-lock system. How they lock and twist down tight in there. So this one is just a general 4-wheeler one. Hose clamped on there with some rubber protectors, and then just kind of adjust it to where you need it. Windshield. So this is the Super ATV windshield. Get a windshield. Now, I will say there are pros and cons to everything in life, and I'll be the first to say that. I got the Super ATV poly windshield, plastic. It's slightly cheaper. It's slightly lighter. Well, slightly cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. But it is what it is. Because it's cheaper, because I could technically just pop one out, cut another one in there, I could replace it. I mean, it is replaceable. Same with the back. The back is also poly. However, this time of year, all this water freezes and you gotta scrape it off with a credit card or whatever. And everybody knows they're prone to scratching. People might be looking at these little doohickeys and be like, that's not a good idea. It's my side-by-side. Do what you want, bro. I don't care. When the first day I took this thing cat hunting, I looked like Ace Ventura sticking my head out the side of the window just to drive down the freaking trail because I couldn't see out the windshield. So what I ended up doing the next day was going on Amazon, ordering 2 manual windshield wipers, And here's the trick I found with these. As you can tell, they kind of work pretty dang good. All right. They're fairly quiet. They're fairly easy. I think these ran $12 or $15 for the pair. And you just have to find some place you want to do it. Now, a lot of places have you drill a hole in your plexi and all that. I'm like, I don't really want to touch the plexi. So I just took out one of these bolts here and got a step bit, drilled this out to the proper size twice, and then put this in here. I'm likely going to do a slight adjustment and blue Loctite these set nuts. But as of right now, they're doing great. Here's what I do for the windshield wipers on a poly windshield. Before you use it, and these do flip up and stay up, okay? Before you use it, just clean your windshield wiper. This is about the, I don't know, 5th or 6th time I've used them, but boy, that is handy. The coverage on this, it's kind of hard to tell, but I mean, if this goes about 270 degrees, 280, this one will pick it up, and you get all this coverage with the exception of right here. This is the most least coverage spot in the whole thing. But for the driver, it's just fine. Anyways, that's that. Other add-ons, I got this bumper. Take it or leave it. It's not gonna stop me from bending anything on a tree, but it will bump the dogs out of the way, and it will kind of, if you're going slow, it'll warn you, hey, there's a stump there. But it is what it is. I got a stopper for the winch line there. I've had to use that winch a few times. The winch works pretty dang good, just like it's supposed to, you know. Tires. CF Moto on the U10s, the 2025 U10s listened. I think they're coming stock with 29s. These are stock 27s, I believe. Let's see here, I can't remember. Yeah, 27. They are small. But that gives you a little better power band and a little better stuff like that. However, when these tires wear down, I'm going to probably upgrade to 30s. Which twofold reasons, but 30s, I'm going to make sure my clutch kit is tuned to that so that I may need different weights or whatever. But that's why I like RNG. You say, hey, I'm upgrading to a 30 or a 32. My clutch is this. So like, okay, you're going to need this and only this and send you only that. That's why I like RNG. Anyways, 30s. Two reasons. One, ground clearance. I know this is a long rig, and it's a long rig in the woods, and high centering is always an issue for a 4-door. But this gets high centered a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I drag a lot. I've been stuck high centered twice, to the point where my buddy's son had to push, and my 5-year-old at the time, boy, had to drive the machine backwards kind of down this little hill because we hit a Kelly hump at the top I couldn't see. Didn't make it. Pushed it down, and poor Easton, he's in there by himself racing backwards down the hill and just like, just hit the brake or pull the lever. He did great though. It didn't go anywhere. But high centering is an issue. So if I can get 2 or 3 inches more height in the middle of this thing, that'd be great. And going from 27 to 30s will help. The other reason why I want 30s is going over logs and stumps just on one tire. You just have a bigger circumference so that you can roll over things. Anybody knows generally bigger tires do slightly better in most stuff. Wheel spacers. I have a 1.5 inch wheel spacer here and nothing on the front right now. However, I have 2 inch wheel spacers in my shop, well, in my possession, and I'm going to put the 2 inch wheel spacers on the back and take those 1.5s and put them on the front. To give you kind of an overview of how it looks right now. Let's see here, you get from the side, those front wheels are fairly straight. The back tires are almost perfect flush with this line right here, right? Which is great. And I'm okay with another 1/2 inch coming out, but I want the front to come out more too. And because this is such a large rig, it does feel top heavy when you're trying to turn around on a pretty good slope. Like I said, I take it in the mountains and got a dog box and some fuel up here, and my, center of gravity is just getting higher and higher and higher, which is why I want to build a dog box here and lay the fuel underneath to keep the heavy fuel lower. Long story. Anyways, getting this thing wider for me is just purely a kind of like a safety issue, because I can't fit in any of the 60-inch and under trails here, so I'm already screwed for that. So may as well just make it a little wider, a little safer. I'm not spinning these tires, like trying to drift this thing sideways around turns. So I'm not too worried about the axle or the bearings on a 2-inch. 2.5, definitely 3. I'd be a little bit more worried about it, but I'm just gonna go that route and see what it does. Also, I got those 2-inch spacers and these 1.5s at rng.com, so another plug for them. But other than that, man, I am still absolutely in love with this paint scheme. Love it. 2 reasons. 1, it looks a lot like an AR I got, and 2, it's not bad in the, I go from sagebrush high desert to aspen to cedar and Doug fir timber here where I am in Idaho, and this color scheme blends right in. I don't stick out. Now, here's one thing I do not like, and please comment in the comments below, and I'm going to show you something I cannot stand, I cannot figure out, and I've looked into it on how to fix these lights in the front. So we'll just turn the key on here. So if you notice, this headlight, it's on high. I'll put it on low just for you, but it's on should be off, right? And that right there should be running. Okay. And these should be on. So those are on. Low beam. Okay, cool. That should only be the running lights, which are those little goofy halo things. Okay, cool. Off. Everything should be off. Nothing is on the dash indicating a light. However, I have these damn halo lights on. I have my brake lights or tail lights on. There are times I don't want those on. How do I turn those freaking things all the way off? Somebody please explain in the comments below. So, anyways, I'm going to show you guys this just to give you a little idea of how I'm using this. Now, let me flip this spilling Mountain Dew everywhere. 22 shorts. I'm dealing with some badger and coyote issues out here. Okay. Because CF Moto used to, the U10s don't have this, have all this underseat storage. This is what I did. So I have my 2 sets of chains that I got locally here, a bunch of bungees for them, a toolbox full of all the tools and sockets and everything I need pretty much for this, 2 concrete rods so that I can winch out in the middle of the desert, not against a sagebrush. Let's see here, what else I got? I got extra oil, extra radiator fluid, electrical connection stuff, propane torch in case I had to get stuck out there overnight cat hunting. Now, probably wondering what these little guys are. These are heated seats, and they come like this, and you just gotta kind of work your way in here for the wiring. But this, let's see here. I believe it was this one was already, no, this goes to control. This is a plug and play system. I think the plug and play is under this liner right here. Work great. The buttons right here. I got one there. I got one over there. That seat right there is also heated. I don't know, and I don't think they do, but they might. I don't think they have anything for the back seat. Nope, they have a slot here for it. So I bet you this back seat has an option as well, but my kids can toughen up a little bit and they'll be fine. Heck, have time in the front anyway. So, yeah, guys, I use this for this ground out here. I got my horses out there. It's used for what it's supposed to be used for. Got my trusty, dirty Marlin 3922. Yeah, so if you guys got any more information about those lights, or if you got any questions, give me a comment, and I will talk to y'all later. Thanks, y'all.